Wait, I think I'm live. Hello, I'm ABX Toycat, and welcome back to another live stream on the internet. It has been over a couple of weeks now, so we got a lot of catching up to do. Some things have happened in that time. I think it'd be important to catch up with you all and update you on too. But first, I think a lot of people are curious, like, so where'd you go, Toycat? And the answer is I went on a trip to visit some new countries. It's something that's like, I don't know, I guess like become like important to me is like, you know, it'd be really cool to visit every country before I die. I made that point before, and especially after, you know, like my mother died, it was like a really important thing to me to like, oh yeah, eventually, you know, when you say before you die, everyone just pictures like, ah yeah, you got 50 years or 80 years, or you picture like some ludicrously long amount of time, but actually facing and being realistic with yourself and saying like, yeah, you have a finite amount of time, so like do something with it. Really is like sunk into me recently, and so yeah, I went on a trip to visit 5 new countries. I think I'll talk more about, yeah, I'll share the actual details if you want to know. But it was actually like a very holiday style. It was a boat that did it all, and if you don't know about how those things go, let me just tell you, there are some nice boats out there that basically function like a fancy hotel room. That can like take you from place to place. Very cool. I mean, I guess I kind of understand the appeal of like yachts now, right? Like, there's always this big thing about like, why is it that billionaires in particular, but like, you know, 100 millionaires too, they start spending like 10 million on a boat, and it's like, do you know the amount of money I want to spend on a boat? Like, genuinely, if you gave me 100 million, I would be allocating 0 million of that to a yacht. Like, literally 0, right? But yeah, I kind of get the idea of like, oh, it's cool. Yeah, if you, it's kind of like, I think owning a car has like all sorts of burdensome downsides that come with it, until you realize like, wait, if you get rich enough, you can just, you can ignore those burdensome downsides. Also, what do I do with my 4 blocks of resin? I don't actually know. I'm just gonna put them over here, I guess, for now. That seems like a reasonable thing to do. Yeah, basically, in the same way that you can technically solve you know, like your car problems by getting a driver. I guess if you imagine, if you ignore the world where you would have to drive your own boat, your boat, sorry, that's a great thing.
Not frown. IBX taught you cat, and welcome to another stream on the internet.
Oh, I'm not. You're not IBX Toy Cat. I've been misled, Mike Bailey. It's good to see you, by the way. Been a couple of weeks, huh? Yeah, I'm afraid I can't stay for long today, but I'm happy you're back. I'm happy I'm back too, Dasher. Yeah, no, while I was gone, I had to do a lot of, like, soul searching, right? About the channel. I think, it's been something that is... I think, I talk about this all the time, that, like, a YouTube channel's continued existence, we just assume that something keeps existing until it doesn't. But because of the nature of YouTube, like, I guess you could argue all entertainment media is about new and fresh stuff. If you keep doing the same thing you're doing, it stops being new and it stops being fresh. And if you don't do anything, then you've basically stopped existing, right? From the internet's perspective. So yeah, basically, you know, I've had to like consider like, okay, so where is it that we take this channel, for example? And so yeah, I'd love to talk about the end results of that. Thomas Sabell says, sorry, I'm sorry for what I said about your hair. Yeah, I think at one point in my life, I was like, you know, like sensitive to it. But I can honestly say at this point that it's like, it reveals to me more about the person saying it than it does about me, right? Like, you know, if anything, you could argue it's useful to hear once every, you know, month or so as a reminder, like, oh yeah, that is, because, you know, for every one person who says it, there's, you know, like 50 people thinking it and going, oh, I wouldn't be rude enough to say it though. So having some people say the unthinkable things is useful in that way, right? Which is a great segue to our next topic here. So I've got to work out what I want to do with all this flint. I guess I'm gonna build myself some fletching tables. I must have had a big plan for fletching tables, chat, but I can't tell you what it is. I think it was one of my videos I was trying to get done as a while I was gone video. And I guess I did not succeed. Honestly, yeah. While I was gone, I had a video lined up for every day, which I was really amazed if I could do that on such short notice. But yeah, basically I had also, that's so weird the way that happened, right? Do I have to go in the water to get it temporarily again? Oh no, I'm outside the range of the conduit. That's why it exists the way it is. So Kat, there's a new glitch cape you can equip right now. Oh, I would love to know. A fletching table biome. I bet I did have plans for a fletching table biome. The fact that that sounds entirely plausible tells me that it's probably the truth. Also, if I kill this guy, oh no, I don't get cooked animal there at all. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna head around the world, and I'm gonna show you a couple of things, chat, because I have a mild update or two around the world as I talk about my updates from around the world. So yeah, I went to 5 countries. It was a very relaxing, like holiday-style holiday for the first time in a while. Again, I think it's good to like always take some time and like really reflect and stuff. So yeah, here is a little pathway that I built through the woods here, and I've said this somewhere, at least a couple of places, but I think I want to build a graveyard in here, chat, or a cemetery, I guess, to use the correct terminology. And so I think I want to have a cemetery partially filled with jokes, but also I just have the funniest idea for a YouTube title of like, pay me $10 and I'll kill you. But yeah, I think if you're curious as to if I mention that idea, here's where I intend to do it. Okay, we'll get the pig below the tree, and now I can kill the pig, and I'll get myself some cooked pork chops. Bermuda. So yeah, Bermuda was not one of the countries, actually. Bermuda is technically a part of the UK. I went to... Honestly, I think it raises the really interesting thing about, like, what does it mean to visit a country? Because there are lots of countries that aren't UN-recognized countries, but are way more distinct. Like, if you go from Estonia to Latvia, they're different places, sure. But to go from London to Bermuda, way more different. To go from, like, Alaska to Puerto Rico, technically both American territories, right? Sorry some stuff happened while you're gone, says Carlisle. Yeah, I do want to, I need to, like, at least have a little chat about that, right? For those who are here and curious. I think I uploaded a video at the worst of times, chat, because like I said, I was in this mode of I need to rush to get videos out while I'm gone. It's something I've done many times before. It means staying up until, like, 1 a.m. the day of my flight and basically not sleeping. Which, has, like... at some point, I need to, like, work out how to not do that to myself, sure. But, alongside the what it does for myself, I think it also has negative effects on the channel. And one of those was I decided to put out a video on what I thought would be a easy topic of like, genuinely, every time we talk about, like, oh yeah, so Notch did this, there's some number of people are like, I don't understand, why does all this Notch hate exist? Because the problem with hatred as an emotion is when you have it, you find it very hard to articulate why, right? Like, I think that's one of the reasons why hatred is, like, it's a useful emotion for our cavemen selves, but it's really not that useful in a world of, information sharing and etc, etc. We can connect with people who share a hatred, but it's hard for most people to articulate why in a way that is, like, shareable and understandable. So I figured, like, oh, I could, one of my things that I've always, like, loved the idea of doing is kind of like mediating. I think that one of the things I would love to do, like, in terms of, like, if I had to make a political content of some form, would be the idea of, like, explaining to different groups why other people. Also, are all my poppers filled? They're not. But I would love to do that. I think there are so many places where people just, like, shout past each other, basically. And I thought, like, oh, you know what I should do? I should use this as an opportunity to basically do that in Minecraft. Not even thinking, like, oh, I bet there are some people who will find this to be, something wildly disagreeable. Just thinking, like, oh, yeah, well, I'll just explain the things. And so I made 2 mistakes on that. One of those was to release it while I was gone. What ended up happening is, I figured, oh, this will explain things, and so people can be like, oh yeah, I really don't like the guy because of this, or, oh yeah, well, I think that, clearly some poor social beliefs don't cancel out your video game, whatever people would say. I figured they would say that, and it would be very chill, but I massively misjudged the way that, which is my bad, right? It is on you as a creator to, like, try and understand your audience reaction. Also, what do I do about my bees, chat? I keep looking at them and going, I'm not going to deal with that. But eventually I'm going to have to, I think. So, yeah, I wouldn't have to yell at people if they'd stop being wrong. I mean, that's exactly. I don't agree with that at all. But so yeah, I released this video while I was away. I was in Puerto Rico at the time, if you're curious. I didn't have internet that day. It's even worse than you might think, right? I literally didn't have internet on a day where the thing released, and again, I thought to myself like, you know, it's fine though because of this. And so what ended up happening is a lot of people ended up like having their spirited debates, which is fine. It's not what I was going for at all as a Minecraft channel, but like some people having their spirited debates. But then the part of it that was like really bad in my opinion was some people would start like attacking other people. This is bad wherever it happens. It's our hatred, our humans being our worst type of humans. But what was especially bad about it is they would start to, you know, like you know, someone would share their thoughts and someone would attack them for who they are, which is the whole point of the whole thing is you're not meant to do that, but some people did it anyway. And you know, like for some people that was like oh yeah, defending the channel by attacking someone else, which is never really what I would like you to do. I think you can usually just like you know, most people who are being negative on the internet genuinely do want attention. That sounds like a thing you talk about to do with bullies. But yeah, the putting that out there led to this huge like you know, like kind of backlash to it, I guess, which I should have predicted, and then I should have been there to like, you know, like help moderate, deal with, etc. But I wasn't. It just all happened while I was gone, and then I just, you know, then when I do get internet, it's like, oof, people are not finding this one good, huh? And so I spend a few minutes looking at why, and I'm like, okay, so let's like, I remove a couple of egregious comments, and I'm like, okay, that's probably it. But nope, no, I get a lot of like, it's one of the first times I ever, you know, hit like a, hit a YouTube Reddit thing, and that was kind of like a scary thing of just people who have, otherwise, you always get this is the thing about drama, right, is people are always like, oh yeah, I don't like that guy, so hearing that he's terrible totally backs up my preconceived biases. And it's like you get those types of people, and it's like, yeah, I get it. The point of being a personality, a creator. Also, Anonymous, hope you had a good time in your block. Did you know they added sword blocking back to the Java snapshot? Yeah, as a command, right? And I genuinely didn't. We should talk about that too, actually, I think. Also, thank you, Hatster, for becoming the 420th channel member. Anyway, so I released a video, and also I should mention the video itself, because it was rushed. I think, you know, you could broadly say maybe I hit some notes that were useful, but I did miss a couple of important, like, you know, a lot. The idea of I think I used a poor example of a dog whistle, for example. I think I used and I think that a lot of people found the video to be like, oh yeah, Toy Cat, I didn't know about the thousands of years of you know, cultures of you know, people who are, I think a lot of people you know, learned a lot of stuff about that video from that video. But I also feel like, yeah, the subject I guess you can always regret not researching something more. But in that case, I felt like, well, it's meant to just be like, here are the reasons. If you have to research the reasons, then you don't know the reasons. But within my reasons, I could have provided a better example of a tweet. So yeah, I at that point, I'm like, man, it was like, I guess I could describe it as the people call this like YouTuber panic mode, where you're like, okay, then so I've done my best to like minimize the harm here, but I'm going in and out of internet. But I basically didn't have internet for a long part while I was gone. So what I'll just do is I'll do the reasonable thing and I'll private it until I'm back, and I can, you know, we can have a proper discussion and a follow up about it. And so then people are like, oh, look at this, Toy Cat. I temporarily made it the ridiculous members only so that no one could see it, right? But that way the YouTube comments would still persevere, because a lot of people don't like the idea of you hiding comments that way. But yeah, people are like, oh, so what are you hiding there, Mr. Cat? Seems real suspicious that you would hide this video. And I was like, okay then, I didn't really. I guess you're not allowed to back down from basically internet's like, oh yeah, we didn't like your opinions, but we like even less that you would stop sharing those opinions. I was like, okay then, I'll put the video up, and people are like, oh, this is real sneaky of you to So okay, I can't win this one. I'll leave the video up. People can, watch it. This is I have to just like clarify. Like, yeah, this is a dangerous place to be right now. We'll come back to it. But yeah, I basically learned there are. I think that within the mission of what we do here on YouTube, it makes a lot of sense as to. Also, is there a temporary raised level of dirt up there? I've got a big goal I want to pull off in this world, chat, but I want to make sure that I've got the space to do it. So I'm gonna go check on that. If you're talking about the notch video, I'm surprised that you made that. Not about what you said, but about the expected bash lag. Yeah, I genuinely I hold this belief too closely of like, oh yeah, I think that most people, if you can present, so I guess the criticism that I'll play that first is like, oh yeah, people would say like, oh yeah, my genuine belief on my side is that if you also, why is it, so there's only a hole here, so if I just level this out, it would look better, and then I would be able to expand my farm down there. So I think that's what I'm going to do right now, chat. But yeah, I just hold this belief that most people, when presented with like a lot of people, because of the idea of hatred, because of this, like you become like unable to and I think it's actually negative. I think that if you can at least understand the other side of where you're coming from, you'll do a lot better, and I think the world does a lot better too. Like I think but I picked the worst and most sensitive and most print-picked issue to do it with. And that was a very poor idea to do while I was away, and I guess I've learned the lesson on that one. And so, I moderate a subreddit called Minecraft Survival, and over half the comments I made in the last 10 years were on 10 posts pertaining to Notch. Yeah, and honestly, a lot of people, you can see this with what Elon Musk is doing, right? A lot of people realize that if you become a polarizing figure, people will love and hate you based on some polarizing issue, which means some number of people, when they hear it, will actually like you, and then everyone else, then everyone will ignore the actually bad things you do because they're nowhere near as bad as this polarizing issue, and that's I don't know. I feel like it's got some whole things. So yeah, hi, what are we doing now? Please tell me. Says Dallas Day. I'm in the Let's Play world. We're just doing a little bit of casual upkeeping. I have some plans for the Let's Play world. We've got some things we're going to be doing. But right now, I just want to say thank you, Cattails, for the pound tip. So, literally all the worst stars aligned. Yeah, and again, I do think that I can't be like, oh, I have no part to believe. It is on me for not thinking about it, right? And I think that is, and like I said, I kind of like, it's therefore led me into a period of reflection about like, first of all, so the two issues of what people say, it's like, well, Toadcat, there are some issues you can't present from a, also, I think I'm just going to remove this. This looks ugly being there anyway. Let's just get rid of it. Why do I have a fence there? I'll also just accept that is there. Yeah, some people are like, it's funny because people got these two concepts mixed up, which is one of the reasons why I think it's useful. But like neutrality and centrism, which are not the same thing in the slightest. A lot of people believe like centrism is when you just want to get along with everyone and grill, man. And people think neutrality is when you think that the really bad people, the literal Nazis of the world or whatever, are just as bad, just as valid as the Allies or whatever else. And I think it's like, oh no, you two different things being conflated here. But yeah, I think that you shouldn't jump into the deep end on stuff like that, and you also shouldn't jump onto the deep end unprompted, straight from an unprompted place. And also on a Minecraft channel, just poor decision, whoopsie. We'll learn from that one, I think. Elon Musk just shattered the Minecraft random seed record. Is that a meme that now you can just say any gaming record has been achieved by Elon Musk? I would love to talk about his alleged records, right? I was on the boat I was on without the internet, so no one to verify. Also, waiting for the 170-kilometer wind right now. Oh, is there going to be a storm hitting us? Did I come back to the UK at the wrong time? Ah, it's terrible. Okay, so I'm going to flatten all of this in here, chat, and it's going to be great. I kind of want to leave this here, though. I think I might just need to, like, set a limit for how far this way I'm going to go. And that could be a reasonable place for it. So then we'll also remove this wheat. And yeah, that looks great. We'll make this more balanced, I guess. Oh, so whoopsie. He also shattered a law in Germany. Yeah, I see the fact that I'm so compelled to have some opinion on this is what makes it such a terrible issue to discuss. The only correct response to stuff like that probably is to like ignore it, but the fact that you can't do that is why it's so powerful. You know, like I think we talk a lot about the idea that people come up with, like social issues have become also as a fellow queer viewer, a lot of people are very on edge about people staying neutral about us because a lot of people feign neutrality when they actually really don't like us. So, yeah, Matobi, if that is, also to get tax, I just got Rona for the first time last week. What were you doing to be getting it this late in the game? Yeah, I've got some questions about it. So, if I could posit something here, right? I would say that a lot of people I think it comes from the fringes, but like understandably in some people's cases, a lot of people will say like the idea of if you are playing any amount of neutrality on any topic, you're with the bad guys. Which is to say, it's more simply. Also, we have a red weather warning for a storm named the same as the. One sec. There's a red weather warning. UK red weather warning. Storm EO. Sorry, I know it's Owen, but I've got to be funny about it. Storm Ewown. I didn't know you had a child called Ewown. Eowine. I think. Oh yeah, apparently. Okay, so there's a big storm coming over. When's that happening? Why has no one told me? Chat, what's going on there? Apparently it's been called the strongest storm in the world, but it's just north of Liverpool, including Ireland. Oh, north of Liverpool, not a big deal. I mean, what was the last good thing you heard come out of north of Liverpool? You know, I can't. It's not even the Beatles, right? And that's usually the one defense. When we say north of Liverpool, we've removed. Anyway, so one of the source of my factivities is on a cruise and said my ultra is, can we go? Okay, I also, complacency is neutrality of that logic. Yeah, no, I think that this is a flawed logic point. The idea if you're with us or against us, is, and I understand where it comes from because a lot of people, feel safest around people they know for a fact are not against them. And so that, as a personal piece of logic, as a personal anecdote, I kind of get it. And even if you want to say to YouTubers, therefore, like, well, okay, well, you, as a platform creator, have to, as someone who has some space, you, therefore, are with or against. I get it, even though I don't agree with it. But that's definitely not how politics works, right? Also, Websby, thank you for the tip. I appreciate you, man. I hope you're doing well. But yeah, I think, I would like to say that I think that is dangerous as a set of logic because you're telling people they are against you, which is not what you want to do. That's not how consensus build, you know, it's not, that's dangerous as an idea. And people who tell you that are the ones who don't care about changing the system because they prefer complaining about the system. If you want to help fix the system and help your people within it and, you know, the people who share your beliefs and identities and ideologies, you want to specifically not say you're with us or against us. You want to say, yeah, well, here's why I think you are with us. Yeah, you know, honestly, my kind of reverse point is like, you know, if you want to convince the people who are against you that they're probably against you for the wrong reasons. Except those aren't catchy arguments, which catchy arguments is assuming, yeah, well, if you're not fully against us, if you're not fully with us, then you want to be convincing people who aren't fully with you, they're not against you. But instead people are saying it's the reverse. Anyway, it's a dangerous thing, but it's what is going on. I think a lot of people, also, KMB, first to get tax. Do you think about Minecraft and YouTube while on vacation? Yeah, I think a dangerous amount, if I'm being totally honest. KMB. I think also I can patch up the creeper holes. This is a sign I'm a real adult now, chat. This is a sign. Look at this. I'm a proper adult who patches my creeper holes, at least the surface. I'm gonna have so many holes below this eventually. But I kind of like that. It's a little bit of story, right? Also, Soul Nugget, thank you for becoming the 421st viewer. Also, as another queer viewer, it's a little different when the two sides are you should exist and you shouldn't. Like, are they really equally valid? So yeah, I would also like to, I'll first of all finish responding to Canby on that one. So, yeah, I think about it a lot. I think, I think with YouTube in particular, it's one of those things where if you're not at the, I think any job, career, whatever you want to call it, any vocation that you would like to do, if there are a lot of other people who would also like to do it, you need to have an edge on those people in some way. And that probably means putting more time than those people in, or more work, or more effort. Nowadays, obviously, it can mean like, well, if you hire the right people, then they can do their equivalents of that, right? But I'm always thinking about it. Also, Harrison says, hey, put that dirt back correctly, please. Am I the only one who fills a creeper hole completely, not just the top? Base polishing is just so satisfying, says Sylvie Lynn. Yeah, let's do a bunch of base polishing. You know, let's fill in some of the ugliest parts of this. I think it's what we need to do. Let's do it. So yeah, no, I think a really compelling case against what I just said is exactly what you said. Like, oh yeah, there are people who do not believe you should exist, and you shouldn't entertain people who are halfway there as being on the same page as you, right? Like, you know, you wouldn't say, you know, like, I don't know, the closest. That is something that is true in the Rwandan genocide. If you were part, or maybe the Cambodian genocide's a better example, I think, of this. But so the Pol Pot went and killed everyone who had glasses on because he was worried there were academics who were against him. So if you're someone with glasses, you can't be like, well, Pol Pot actually, even though he shouldn't be killing people, he has a very good point because, you know, academics do often wear glasses, and now you won't be. You know, like, I understand the argument of like, yeah, no, that's not, you can't just, you know, if you allow that to be just as valid as you shouldn't kill people indiscriminately. So I actually understand the argument, but I also think it is important to note that comes with the caveat of a lot of people will, maybe because they believe it, but in some cases because they are trying to, you know, like, in some cases because they're trying to, you know, convince you of something or other, like, yeah, build some tribal ideology, like, yeah, there are people who don't believe, and there are some people who are fully against, and that really sucks, you know. There are people who are like, oh yeah, all you gotta do is insert terrible thing here and you can create a solution, but that also isn't people, that it's a lot smaller of a group than you think, and most of the actual issues that are, like, being decided or helped on that, you know, people have strong feelings on, particularly in those communities, are much more minor than... There's no one signing a bill saying, yes, we shouldn't exist. Also, Toycat gets a YouTube strike speedrun by talking about these topics %. But no one is actually saying, no, you shouldn't exist. I think that is and if they are saying those things, it's not like a political law, I guess I should say. Like, people are saying them, they exist out there in the world, but by and large as like super niche fringe things. And so the actual, like, what are the things you are trying to address here or there are more like, okay, so what about I'm trying to avoid getting too spicy here, but, like, you know, like those more approachable issues to do with the health cares of it, or the access policies, or the name rights, not all that stuff. Those are the ones that are actually kind of like going up, right? Also, the US just saw President Trump saying my existence is illegal. That is why I think that people need to have someone explain that, like, you know, like, the dog whistle of it all is saying, like, oh yeah, biological gender means that you can't check. But, like, I think even if you actually ask most people who are, you know, but if you ask trans people, I've spoken to a fair number. Like, if you actually speak about it, right, you get into this, like, so, like, the difference between air quotes biological and not is kind of just down to name calling, right? Like most people agree that you're transitioning gender and not biological sex, right? But yeah, that's which is and so by creating a conflation of the two, you create the culture war going on even further, because people who think that they are very reasonable are like, yeah, obviously you're not changing one thing when you change the other thing, and some people are like, wait, no, when you say that, you're actually just so that's where that kind of comes from. Yeah, no, politics, yo, says core. Yeah, that's why I think that's why in general it's like, you can talk about mild political issues. The examples people always give are like, oh, should we have a new rail line, or should we raise or lower income tax? But if you talk about certain ones, then they are too wedged. What's the word? Yeah, they're too strong of wedge issues. They're too deeply. People feel too deeply wedged because for very valid reasons, right? If you are someone who believes that people, by saying the biological thing, are implying the sociological gender thing or whatever, if you think that people are saying that, then yeah, I totally feel where that's coming from, this is by getting people into these little silos on these issues of like, oh yeah, well you agree this or you think that. Then again, I think you start to like stall progress, and also you get to the thing we kind of mentioned of like, you know, way more people get excited about the politics of let's rename this body of water something that's proud and nationalist than like if you were to be like, oh yeah, let's have a sensible policy for putting slightly more money back in the pockets of people by doing, you know, like 2%. I think that's pretty sure why Trump specifically used the word gender in this. He didn't imply biology. I think there's I think that's the really, if you look into it right, it's even more dumb than that, because it specifically says the first time that you're it implies that everyone's a woman, right? Because it's based on the first cells that you form as, and I think, if I'm not wrong, humans in the womb, we start as, like, everyone starts as a woman, and then eventually your body gives you the male, you know, like hormones, biology, whatever else, which is you get the idea, right? And so you get the really silly thing part of that, of like, yeah, I think a lot of politicians get to the level of like doing things they know will be reverted, so they can say, but look, we tried and they stopped us, you know, like, oh, you. And I think the crazy thing is, especially to like the particular president, is like his whole running thing is being like, yeah, look, the elites don't want me to be the most powerful man in the land. And it's something Biden did too, right? Like the whole, like, every time they pass something by being like, oh yeah, we need to do this. And it's like, aren't you the man leading this? Shouldn't you be the one who can do these things? Also, I feel like this room needs a makeover, chat. I think I might cover it in carpet again. I removed a lot of the carpet, but I think I need to put it back down. So basically Trump came out as trans in the weirdest way possible. I mean, if you read the wording and you understand, I think that's the only way you can take it. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, the important thing is I think that as a society we should fix the way we get wedged and wedge issues, but also I can understand why as individuals that happens to you, and I think that there is no avoiding that. And even though I would love to be someone who can help on that, obviously that's not, clearly that is not my job, and I should stop pretending that it is. Also, as people with chromosomes can be XXY, XY. Yeah, is that Down syndrome when you get an extra chromosome? I want to know what happens if you get YY, like, because it's always X. There's always an X chromosome in there, right? You can get multiple Ys. I'm gonna Google what happens with YY chromosomes. So YY chromosomes is called XYY syndrome. Yeah, you can only get XYY. It gives you increased height, potential learning disabilities, and sometimes behavioral issues. But why can't you get YY by itself? Why do you need the X? Why do you need an X chromosome? You need an X chromosome because it's the sex chromosome that determines your biological. But that's not... Okay, whatever. The point here is to say... yeah, I think a lot of people... I think for a lot of people it's... really... I think for a lot of people, when a lot of people don't go down the silo of saying... also,
I like when you talk about politics, USA.
You're the only one, apparently. You're the only one. Yeah, I think the... I always used to dislike this like thing of people saying like, oh yeah, you should stay in your, stay in your lane. You know, like just because you know about Minecraft Bedrock doesn't mean you're qualified. And you know, like a part of me feels like, no, yeah, you don't get to tell me what I'm qualified to talk about. Okay, I'm gonna find an issue. I'm gonna find something I know nothing about, and we're gonna talk about it, chat. I do not know how baked goods work. I don't know how croissants work in the slightest. I know you've got to laminate pastry, but I don't know what laminating pastry is. You can laminate a floor, you can laminate a piece of paper, you can laminate a pastry. I think also my hubby is 6'9", maybe he has that. Thanks for all the amazing content over the years. Thank you, Soul Nugget. I appreciate it a lot. So here's something I know nothing about. I'm going to talk about it anyway. So I think that croissants are much better when you put some almond in them. I think I've gone to the point now where a regular croissant has to be like really fresh for me to like it, because we've despite croissants being such a huge amount of effort, we've gotten to the point now where you can get them for 45p from Lidl and they're good as long as they're fresh. And so why would you eat a stale one from yesterday, knowing that you can spend 45p and get a better one? There's a certain curse of knowledge in that way. But anyway, you see that? I spoke about croissants with no knowledge on it whatsoever. And so, in a way, you could argue, yeah, aren't people entitled to talk about, you know, statistically, unless you have, like, a large amount of education in politics, you probably know not as much as you need to have a correct opinion. But politics is one of those issues where there is no such thing as a correct issue on there's no correct answer to what should the rate of income tax be. You can look at countries that have a 0% income tax and they're pretty successful. You can look at countries that level out around 20%, they're pretty successful. You can look at countries that have 40%, they're successful. The UK during World War II had a 99.75% top rate of income tax, and I mean we lost superpower status actually. But we existed. We continued surviving, and we probably made some money to win that war, which we did win. We were on the winning side. That's why we're allowed nukes. All it takes is losing superpower status and a high tax rate, and you can have nukes. Although America got their nukes, they didn't need to do the same, did they? Anyway, so I mean, actually, I think America did do pretty much the same. I think it never got truly implemented, but FDR was always talking about a maximum wage. You know, it's widely spoken about that we have a minimum wage, so why not a maximum wage, right? Why not have a rate of tax at which you get taxed 100%? And the answer is because then people just won't earn that amount, they'll pay it as dividend income. That's what the Beatles did, if you've ever heard their song about not liking the tax man. Well, it's not because they pay that rate of tax, it's because they have to avoid the rate of tax which does... Because, you know, like as an individual, you can avoid tax right now. It's just like, you'd rather not, so most of us pay it. Because the downside of avoiding tax are higher than the upsides. You have to lock away money for a large amount of time and a pension, or... Anyway, so I can't go back to baked goods. But I do think, so I've always been someone who's like, yeah, you can have your unqualified opinions, sure. I do have to say, coming out of it, that I guess I kind of understand, and I guess I always have to some extent. So I'm going to do more looking around, by the way. More little fixes here or there. So, okay, this little spot here, I think we should make it wider. I think I left this at a certain width where it's just not, it's not good for anyone. And also maybe I should have some grass at the bottom. Make it feel more legit. Let's go through and do this now. Do I have inventory space? Just about. So yeah, I think the reason why is because, specifically, because you can talk about politics and you can have a valid and equally valid opinion regardless of your level of education and knowledge. I think that is precisely the reason why people do not want you to talk about it, because it means that every single person has come up with their unqualified opinion, and a lot of political rhetoric. The easiest way that you can get our favorite caveman feeling of in-group versus out-group, of that man is bad and this man is good, is by saying, oh yeah, there are good opinions and there are bad opinions. And it really sucks when someone that you really respect in some school of life has a bad opinion, you know? Like, when, you know, like, and I think that's, like, a big part of why it's, like, you know, as a creator, you have to at least think about, you have to at least seriously consider the idea that maybe it is actually more harm than good to share your opinions. Because a lot of people, you know, I think a lot of people always share those opinions. But a lot of people will feel like, oh, I did not even realize. I didn't realize that's where you could go. The bad opinions are the ones that contradict my opinions. Yeah, exactly. I think we should lean on a personal economy system, like the tax should be a percentage of what you earn in a year, and it remains the same for the rich and the poor, says Sylvie Lynn. What you're describing is a flat tax. A lot of people think flat tax is where everyone pays the same amount. I think that's poll tax, maybe? Which do exist in parts of the world. I think even the UK's council tax is broadly based on that system. Although it scales, but okay, you know, actually no, it's very rare to find an actually flat tax in that way. But a flat rate percentage is an idea that says, yeah, the rich pay more tax, but it doesn't scale as percent of your income. The biggest reason why you would do that is because it would remove distortions in the economy. Again, if you look at people who have billions, they don't earn billions and pay the top rate of tax. In the US, it's about 39%. In the UK, it's 45%. 47 really by the time you add. But you know, like you don't, people don't pay those top rates of tax because there is a distortion in either, you know, like someone else should earn the income, but more realistically, it's like, well, you take it as a capital gain, and even then, you don't actually have to take that capital gain until after you die. So when you die, someone takes that capital gain on your behalf, but you have money and you can just borrow against it forever, right? And so if you just have a flat tax rate that applies to everything, you can remove a lot of those distortions. But also, I think there's something about... I think that you would have to set that tax rate higher on lower income people, or you'd have to set the amount of revenue lower, so you'd have to cut some government benefits, which is why it never goes anywhere as an idea for most people. See, that's me, but that's me explaining that neutrally. Whereas the centrist position, I feel like I have to have this discussion at some point on the internet, so we'll do it right here. Whereas the centrist position would not be to agree with that, you know. So if the more laissez-faire economic model says that you should have a flat tax, and the other opinion is, well, no, because that means that a percent of your income that, you know, like 10% of your income when you're poor hurts way more to pay than when you're rich. Also, I got really distracted from mining my stone wool. But yeah, I think, so the only political party I'll follow is the one that brings us the Savannah update. You should vote for the Savannah. It's gonna take some time to get these things we never had. Yeah, so I think the neutral stance is to try and explain both sides. A lot of people think the centrism is neutrality, and I think that's wrong. Also, I think that, like, is it bad to explain an issue neutrally? And again, when you talk about like things like that, it's fine. But I think our current issues are all like built in such a way that to talk about them is to have an opinion, right? So in that same way, like, you could argue that me saying that people wouldn't be happy with a cut in government services is an opinion in its own right. Whereas for some people, the view that the government exists and does anything besides defense, enforcement of contracts, and maybe just those two things, honestly, is in itself a terrible allowance, right? In the same way that you might say that, you know, like some governments are trying to legislate people out of existence and have done so at some points in the past. You know, you could make the argument that, like, oh yeah, the fact that we have to argue over the rate rather than is the existence of it, you know, okay or not at all. That does have some interesting things. Whereas centrism can be a lot of people. I think so many people get this mixed up because it's such an easy hate target on the internet for centrism. I wouldn't broadly describe myself as a centrist, but I would say that most people find themselves being somewhat centered on most societal issues, because when you're like, especially when you're young, I find people just bounce from extreme to extreme, as it explains a situation away quite well. You know, like, the moment you find out, like, oh, I mentioned this before, but I thought it was so messed up as a kid when I learned that if your pet gets sick, you have to pay for someone to look after that animal and make him better, and if you don't pay, your animal dies. I remember thinking, what the, like, I was distraught at the idea that we have the ability to help people, and yet we don't. I think some people feel this way about, like, you know, like homelessness or whatever too, like, oh, can't we just snap our fingers and fix the problem? And you know, if we can, then surely we should, right? There's a, you know, an interesting thing in there. But then, you know, like, then you turn into a, you know, like, you have one really good issue of one really good experience of a free market, and you turn into the world's most, you know, libertarian person in the world, because, like, oh, if the free market can solve this one problem, I guess it can solve every single problem. And then I feel like most people take some balanced view of, like, oh, if this problem is really well solved this way, and this problem is really well solved this way, then maybe we need to actually start working out what's the best solution for these things. I think, and also, what's down there, chat? Why do I have this? I'm gonna have to find out. I need to label stuff like this better so that future me. You know what? We're going down. Let's go find out. What did I make here and why? It keeps going? Okay. Is there a reason for this? What is this, chat? Why does this exist? There's gotta be a good reason. Wait till Togat finds out what the American system says about people. I mean, so there's the thing that I think is interesting. So again, I feel like I think a lot of people mistake centrism as like, oh yeah, I'm gonna look at every side of an issue as being equally valid. But there are some issues that you can't do that with, right? And obviously where, you know, like, are people valid or whatever is one of them. But also I'm gonna put some grass down here. I don't think it's gonna help me in any way. I just think it'd be nice to have a grass patch down here. Don't you agree, chat? Yeah, what? A maintenance shaft? I think I should at least put some slime blocks down here and, like, dig it out a bit more, maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure why this exists, but I feel like I should do something with it. Okay, so I'm gonna dig this down 3 blocks wide the entire way. I have no idea what I was up to when I did this, but I'm clearly just gonna fix that right now. Let's make a 3x3 shaft, and then we'll place some slime blocks at the bottom, so that way I can just fall down it. It'll be nice, right? Also, hi Toycat, I'm somewhat new here. Good to see you. Welcome to the channel. Yeah, I think what's really interesting is, like, for some questions, again, like, you can talk about, like, so actually, wait, no, the healthcare thing. So I'm as you can see, I'm not fit to have a discussion about anything right now. I have too low of an attention span, clearly, but American healthcare, you learn about, and you're like, that's horrifying. And then you look into, like, you know, I'm glad that when I was like 12, I spoke to some Americans on the internet, made my jokes about the healthcare, and they're like, oh yeah, totally agree. And I was like, so what happens if you literally, you have no money and you're, one of the things about, like, how a market should work, right, is that you should be able to turn down a service. Any market where you can't turn down a service isn't a free market. It's a forced market, right? In the same way that you can't choose not to pay your taxes, or you can't. So I had this question of, like, so what happens if you're knocked out and you're taken to the hospital? Can they bill you for treatment that you would not want? And the answer is that they have to bring you up to that point, right? Like an American hospital, if you go in and you are unconscious, they have to bring you up to consciousness, and then they can, you know, then they can ask for the credit card and do more. I don't know what was happening before that law was passed. Like, were there American hospitals that were just like, nah, this guy doesn't look like he'll pay, so we won't have to. But then the interesting thing about that, if you go another layer deeper, is like, oh, so that's really nice of hospitals. It's like, no paid business does things because they're nice. Or they do things because they're nice in some greater search. But it means that the reason American healthcare costs so much, it's partly because, you know, like, it does have, like, a quality. Some of the very best hospitals are in America, and that can come, you know, there are, you can work out why that might be. You know, if you're someone who's looking to do the best of something, you want to go where people will pay you the most, and where people can pay you the most is probably where prices are highest to cover it, statistically in a lot of cases. But the other interesting thing about it is that, like, yeah, the cost of, like, having to treat people and then ask for money later, even when you really suspect they're not going to pay, is that medical debt and medical bills in general have very high delinquency rates. Also, I have another one of those over here, chat. Where did all these holes come from? You know, I'll just keep making more holes. Every time I find a hole, I'll put slime blocks at the bottom. And then I'll have a lot of holes eventually. How's your trip, Toy Cat? Says Ohio Craft. Really good. Thank you for asking. I read, like, I feel like I don't get that much time to, like, just enjoy media when I'm at home. But I played a bunch of this game. Really good, by the way. I felt like playing as Zelda and summoning tables wasn't going to be a good mechanic. Nah, it was great. So I played Echoes of Wisdom, and I read all of the first book that Silo is based on. It's called Wool. I've become obsessed with Silo recently, chat. So I'm reading through the second book right now. Beacon Holes. Yeah, I should make beacon holes too. You know, we should all make beacon holes. Just got here, so watching from the beginning. Welcome back, says Larry Nannery. For you in about 51 minutes, welcome back yourself. No, yeah, I think, so if you're curious about the trip, why it was such a big deal, as a YouTuber, especially one who, like, has now become, you know, like, I've started streaming more and more, right? That's become more and more of a thing. As a YouTuber, leaving for such a long period of time means inevitably you're gonna be off the pulse for some amount of time, which is scary. I'm rereading Shift as well. IBX Toy Cat. Hey, you're reading the same book as me, Lorenzo. Oh, just Lorenz now. Yeah, it was so cool because I watched the first 2 seasons of Silo, the TV show. I read the Dust Wolf series ages ago and only learned a week or two that it was a series now. Wait, yeah, the series is good, Dan. It goes, it's so differently ordered to the books, but in a way that I genuinely think, like, I like the books, I like the show. Are you excited for the Switch 2? Do you reckon it'll take 4 years for a native version of Minecraft, like the PlayStation 5? This is a really good question. Also, 5, and it's got, like, a fun... so, this is a great question, Jake Riley. I feel like I should answer that in Q&A Saturday, actually. I'll save that for future me. You can still call me Lorenzo. Thank you, Lorenz. I appreciate it greatly. I appreciate it some great deal. But yeah, as to the question of the Switch 2, I do think the Switch 2 is a game changer. Yeah, like I'm excited for one personally. I have to say, maybe this is beaten to death by the internet already. I haven't seen anyone say it yet though. I hate that it's not OLED. Like I don't have my Switch here with me, but I was really considering upgrading my Switch because my screen, I just don't like it. I really love an OLED screen. It's got such crisp colors. How is Nintendo bringing out a machine in 2025 having just gone through... I don't understand. You gotta watch From. I hear it's similar to Silo. I wanted to watch From until I learned they didn't renew it. I do want to... I had it recommended to me by a viewer. I trust and respect from the channel. But I want to... The reason I'm into Silo is because it's now been renewed for its full 4 series. I know they're not backing out on me. I'm getting that full series. Same with the books. Like, so, anyway, I'm now going to put my... I guess I could just grab some slime blocks out of here. I'll just grab a bunch, actually. I'm sure I need them for all sorts of reasons. It looks the same. Is it the same specs? So it's a 1080p screen now. It's a slightly cooler looking device. And presumably it's more powerful on the inside. I don't know by what factor. I don't know if it's like 10 times more powerful or 5 times. But yeah, the Switch 2, it's basically a spec bump Switch 1. But then I don't understand, why didn't they if they made an OLED version, they know people want OLEDs? Or are they just doing the thing like Apple where they're like, but if we add it this year, what will we add next year? And if it's that, then I think it's really dumb. I think far too many tech companies have this thing of like, oh yeah, but if we do that now, where are we going next? And it's like, that shouldn't be a primary concern when releasing new things. Yeah, I just think having this like non-flat area is really ugly. So I'm glad we patched that in. I think like here too, it just isn't good, you know? You know what I'm saying? I hope you know what I'm saying. So yeah, I guess we'll also chop down the dripstone. I have to do this every now and then, so like get the housekeeping done while we're at it. Just drop it all in there and have my dripstone. I don't think the chest is anywhere near being filled. Yeah, we got plenty of time. No worry about that. Allegedly, it's PS4 Pro powered, as opposed to the Wii U rivaling power of the current Switch. Yeah, but PS4 Pro, man, that's really depressing if it's like still that far behind. But Nintendo have always been about making poor quality consoles and high quality, low quality hardware, high quality software. Which you could argue is also what Apple does, right? Like Apple underclocks their CPUs and until recently, Apple was a very good software company and a very questionable hardware company. So maybe Nintendo, pulling off their thing successfully. Also, let's see how many. I've got 64 here, so I am collecting a decent amount of dripstone, which is good. That is what I would like to be doing. So yeah, season 4 is being filmed right now. From is being renewed. Wait, oh, I got it. I'm mixing up I'm mixing up From with something else. From is an American TV series created by John Griffin. It's on Epix. I don't have Epix. It's set in a nightmarish town that traps those who enter. Okay, let me Google From Where to Watch UK. Oh, it's on Apple. It's on Apple TV and Amazon Prime Video and Now TV and Sky Go. Huh. I have Apple TV temporarily. I might give it a try. Any thoughts about the spring drop, says KMB? Yeah, actually. I do have some thoughts on the spring drop. So, actually, wait, I'm going to quickly check. I have a video about this going out real soon. I'll see if that's, like, happening as we talk. Okay, so I'll just ignore these slimes. I'm sure they're inconsequential. Okay, so... Okay, the video is not up yet. But, yeah, so I think we now know with a decent confidence interval when the spring drop is coming out. And so that means we now know there's a maximum of like 5 or 6, maybe 7 or 8, but like, there's between 5 and 8 new snapshot and beta opportunities for them to add new features, which means it probably is going to be substantially smaller than we previously expected. J-Rob Plays, have you seen Stranger Things? Are you excited for season 5? Oh, I've seen season 1 of Stranger Things, and like I just didn't get why I would want to watch a second season, and I felt I just wasn't in love with it by the end of the first one. I've heard that it gets really good in future seasons, but it felt odd to me in a way that I don't know, like no one else has described in the same way that I can kind of understand. Dripstone makes water and lava source blocks if you collect it in a cauldron. Yeah, I don't think I need more water source blocks. Also, look at that. What's over there? What am I seeing right now, chat? I genuinely... Is that a wandering trader? Oh, hello, Drowns. Okay, so this is something we need to fix. This is something I really need to fix. Okay, so let's come through here and let's fix it. Fix it good and proper. The way I know how. So we're gonna come through here. Okay, so it's 2 zombie traders. Wait, is that one from a jungle and one from a... That is such a rare occurrence, chat. I feel like I can't do nothing with this. Yeah, if I've got them anyway. How do I get them out here, though? I could cure them first and ask questions later. That's not going to work well, is it? I feel like I have to do something about this, chat, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do something about it. We'll work out what the something is later, but for now, let's place a torch down. And let's break these blocks. Yeah, there's glass below them anyway, so I can break these blocks. And then that will help with the sugarcane farm that is sitting below it. And also it should stop some of this water from flowing this way. Or maybe it won't until we do some other stuff first. But I think what we can do now is if I just fill this, like if I replace these blocks with stone, so like along here. So eventually this will cause the water flowing to stop. Nope, it's doing the weird thing about it. Okay, so I'm going to hope that those zombie villagers stay alive, but I've got a more important project for right now. So eventually we do this, but then it's going to flow in from this side. So we need to also, at the exact same time, place a bunch of stone over here. Okay, so now the water can only get in there from one direction, and also here. And so now it will start flowing away, which is great. Then we're gonna... Okay, then we have to bring this even further this way. And eventually the water will stop being able to get over there. That's my plan. Let's see if it works accordingly. Yeah, so then once this happens, we remove these blocks. And then we remove these blocks. And the water will flow as intended. Perfect. And then we can remove these ones too. And then we can plant sugarcane here. Perfect. They're going to despawn. I don't think they will despawn. I think they've been there forever. I bet there's some... I couldn't tell you why they've been there forever, but I bet they will continue being there forever. I don't know. Again, I can't tell you why I'm making that bet, but I'm pretty confident making it. So yeah, I'll finish placing these blocks here. There's probably a better block to use, but I've got the durability in my tools. There we go. So now all of that water flows away. Oh, but that includes that water. So I'm actually going to go do something about that first. So for now, we'll just remove these stone blocks. They don't seem to be necessary anymore. As wild as that is to see. And then we'll also remove these dirt blocks. Yeah, that looks good enough. And then we'll flow to the top. And I'll go grab a splash potion and fix this. It's because they're holding string that they won't despawn. Yeah, I think that's a weird feature. I'd much rather enemies exist and not despawn more often than despawn when they're not meant to. But it raises funny questions. One of the funniest things was you being compared to Jonathan Byers. I remember watching Stranger Things after seeing those and couldn't help but laugh. Yeah. I watched Stranger Things after seeing that too, KMB. I had the exact same thing. I was like, oh, I see what people are getting at here. It was a very understandable comparison. People even say I look like the other guy from it too. He's like a slightly older guy, and I was like, oh yeah, I can kind of see I see that as well. Like when you put yourself in the public eye, you kind of inevitably expect, in some weeks more than others, but you expect that some number of people are just gonna hate you for existing, and that that feels. I don't know, maybe reasonable. Maybe that feels very understandable to some people. But a lot of people are just like, I don't like people who are like this. And your job on the internet is to find a lot of people. And some of those people are going to be people who hate people who are like this. And so they're going to be like, who is this guy and why is he exactly like the people I hate? Just want to let you know, I don't think you look like Jonathan Byers. Thank you, KMB. I'm glad that someone feels that way. But yeah, I don't have to be a public figure for people to hate me, says Fukun Alger. I guess though, in your life, you have a maximum number of people who can hate you, and you do a really good job trying to avoid those people. But on the internet, it's a little bit harder, partially because there's just a scale difference. I've encountered so much. This isn't about me, right? But I have encountered so many ridiculously mean things over the last week. And, you know, a part of me is like, just stop reading it. And another part of me is like, but I need to know, right? I need to, like, I want to know if they have a valid point. It's this dumb human compulsion, which I got rid of years ago to become a YouTuber, but which every now and then you have to put your hat back on of like, okay, let's listen to why people despise me. And so I have, I do actually have a list of them. And, you know, one of the big ones is, I thought this was wild, but like this was like, oh yeah, well, Toy Cat's long been one of the worst sources for anything on the internet, and I was like, oh, what did I do? Because you know there's this thing that begins where people like look into, they try to find things to hate, they go real deep searching for it, like, and so someone was like, Toy Cat gave a very incorrect date on the start of the Polish-Lithuanian... Toy Cat did not consider the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth to be a true predecessor state to the current-day Poland. Toy Cat said that Poland began in 1637, but really has existed as the Commonwealth forever. Everyone knows the... And first of all, I know the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, but there is a funny point where you have to say as a country, like, at what point does is Egypt that exists today the same Egypt that built the pyramids? Is a fun example. But yeah, I felt like, you know, like having to like read someone's like tearing apart of like, oh, but the Lithuanian Commonwealth Toy Cat. I thought that was kind of funny personally. Do you know that passive mobs don't despawn on Java? Says Kiam. I bet that can't be true. I bet they despawn. I don't know under what conditions, but I know they must. I was meant to be working this afternoon. I spent it creaking heart hunting instead, says Polly E. That sounds like a much more valuable use of your time. And don't remind me what your job is so that I would disagree. Just like, oh yeah, for some jobs, which could technically include yours, much better use of time. See, I think I'm going to cure these guys into villagers, and then if I have 2 wasted villagers, then so be it, you know? So I'm going to try and do this perfectly. Let's go. Did I get them both? Okay, so one of them's going to temporarily attack the other one, but I think that's fine. Oh, I don't have any stone anymore, because I guess I have to mine some stone to get some more stone, but that's fine. So we'll mine these blocks. We've got to mine the blocks down first, so when we remove the top ones, it does this. And so then we'll do the same. No, that's exactly what I was just saying I shouldn't do. Chat, this is going to take forever to fix now. This is going to take forever to fix. Okay, there we go. I can fix it by placing the blocks in here, maybe. I'll use fletching tables. As everyone knows, these are the best blocks for choicing on these things. Okay, now we can start destroying these blocks. And we also need to get some torches out so we can, like, properly light the place. So that should definitely be lit. And this is... Oh, God. Hello, zombie. So, yeah, I need to stay near those guys while they're curing up. But I don't imagine anything bad's going to happen to them yet. There's a good while till the bad things start happening to them. It's a well-known fact that Toy Cat possesses all nearly lettuce. I do in fact... Oh, my stream crashed. Yeah, it is a widely known fact. Also, Toy Cat, Hello Kitty map gameplay when? I think I'm getting to the point now where I'm starting to say, like, if a map is over $10, I don't feel right showcasing it on the channel. I think that's disappointing because there's lots of cool things out there. But I've mentioned this before, when you... I hate how much of the modern, you know, like, attention economy... Oh, wait, that's bad. We don't want to do that. We really don't want to... Oh, no, chat. What have I done to myself? Okay, so we're just going to let these guys... This is good, actually. I'm going to let them heal up while we take them out of here. Yeah, this is good, chat. This is really great news, actually. This is exactly what I want. There are no downsides to what is happening right now, only upsides. Because when they become villagers, they'll stop following me. But as it stands, as they are zombie villagers, they will follow me. And that's perfect. Yeah, I have nailed this decision. I am smart and think everything ahead of time, as I've proven time and time again. especially with the videos I post on this channel. So where are you? Where did the second guy go? Okay, there he is. You have to come up here, buddy. You're gonna have to come up here. So, yeah, I think the place I want to get them is probably my fletching farm. I think that'd be the best place for them. I have a big plan. I want to get the Bedrock exclusive arrows, chat, and it takes a lot of fletchers to like have a decent shot at that. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna. Oh, what did I do? No, no, come back. Okay, so I think I'm gonna. Can I get them up that actually? I bet I can. Oh no, 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 no! Don't burn! I didn't realize that was an option. Daylight, I guess. Oh, yeah, I don't want that to happen again. I've got to consider that that is a possibility. So I'll put them in a boat. Or, like, is there a staircase up? Maybe? I bet I have a staircase up somewhere. I'll lead them this way. They've only got a couple minutes left till they're fully cured. So we'll just wait till that moment occurs. Or I could lock them up somewhere now. Hey, look, we got a guy. Wait, why is the other guy taking so long? Is there a certain degree of randomness in the time? No, 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 stop. Stop, 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 stop. Stop, 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 stop. Look at me. Yeah, look at me. Over here, buddy. Okay. So I've got the string now. No, 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 don't attack him. Attack me. I've got the armor. I can deal with it. So yeah, I did not know that it was so hugely random. I thought they would both cure at the exact same moment. But now I've got to... Oh, God, I've got to deal with... Oh, yeah, I've got to... Oh, come on, don't... Okay. So that is 2 villagers now. And I guess logically I have to trap them somewhere. So, oh, man, you are not making this easy for me. So I guess a boat is what I'm going to have to build. And I'll put them both in the boat. And then future me can deal with that boat. Okay, bamboo raft. Where did the other guy go? Man, this is... You guys are impossible. So that's one of them. I'm gonna have to... I arranged this horribly, chat. Okay, so I forgot just how skittish. Also, there we go. I forgot just how crazy villagers can be. But let's lure this guy over there, shall we? Ooh. Okay, come on, come on, come on. Go join your friend. Go join your friend. He's over there. Why are you running around so madly? Just this way, please. Okay, or in that works too, I guess. As a Java player, I never knew there were Bedrock exclusive arrows. Ah, yeah, there are actually. It's very handy to know that fact. Hey, Toycat, is there any place I can reach out to you? I've messaged you on Twitter, but you haven't responded. I don't think you can message me on Twitter. So you've messaged someone else, and I'm glad they haven't responded. Honestly, there is this bit of a pain of like, and you sound real monstrous for saying it. But it's very hard, like, I have like specific places for specific things. If you just say you want to message me and you can't give me more of an explanation, it's not easy for me to tell you how to do that. I am sorry to say. Yeah, yes, 15 squiggles. You're rich, Toycat. Where did he go? Chat, where did the villager disappear to? How long until he comes back? That's the real question. Also, why is he sprinting around so madly? Totally non-controversial raft you've got there. You know what? Some people... Oh, there we go. He's back. He's back. Go walk onto the raft. Go do it. Okay, just... So now I'm going to raft this over to the other raft. As you can see, he's there of his free will. There's nothing keeping him on this raft. Therefore, it is a morally acceptable and approvable raft. Okay, so then we'll place a bunch of these over there. A bunch of these over here. I want to make it so the only way out of this is onto that second raft. That needs to be the thing. Okay, so some blocks here and over there. Maybe over here too. Do I have any other blocks I can use? I'll just use some bamboo planks. Just doing whatever is required here to make this work. Then we'll place a bunch of blocks here. and around. And eventually... Okay, there we go. Now if I break that first raft, I can guarantee he'll make it onto the second raft. Okay, look at this. Boom. 2 villagers on a raft, and both of them will give me discounts for their trades. So I can buy leather pants for 1, which isn't that great. Or I can buy iron armor for 1. That, in effect, chat, means that I can trade 9 emeralds to get 1 piece of iron. Oh, I should do that in the igloo core world, right? Oh, yeah. That's an idea, right, chat? That's a good idea, I would say. So I'm gonna try and make this area smaller. Chop some bamboo. Maybe move you guys into the corner. Like, future me is gonna deal with this, chat. Don't worry. Future me has got this covered. He's got that situation on lockdown. But current me has no idea how to deal with this, and so current me isn't going to. Current me is delegating responsibility to future me. Let's hope that he delegates wisely. Yeah, this looks great to me. Just take all the corners away, and then put some of them back, and then yeah, this is great. This is exactly what I need, and exactly what I want. So, Kat, what are your thoughts on baby ducklings? Love them. I like that they grow to be full ducks too. Some people don't love that bit. Some people not a fan of the final form. But let me tell you, that's not me. I like me some adult ducklings, and just you believe. Whew. So yeah, I'm gonna use some of that stone that I just picked up for this. I think I need to just like commit to making this area stony. But then what should I do about this, chat? Do you think it adds more character for being obsidian? Or do you think I need to replace this with stone? I don't think I need to replace it, I guess. I guess I can choose to replace it. Only hostile mobs despawn, and fish on Java, according to the wiki. Okay, I'm glad that fish despawn. That seems like an important one to have in there. But otherwise, I am quite surprised. So in theory, a baby zombie can climb over this. So I'm going to leave that block there. Yep, looks great. Future me is going to enjoy that so much. Yeah, good luck, future me. Hey, that random one. Did you hear about the Minecraft roadmap and one of the leaks is a Fortnite collab? Oh man, okay, oh, whoopsie. So, yeah, I think it's pretty irresponsible to report on it like it's the truth. But, you know, I also think, like, I think some people love the illusion of leaks being true. Genuinely, you are adding to people's life by sharing something that in their heart of hearts they know not to be true, but have a chance of thinking is. I think, to me, if I'm sharing something with you, there needs to be a chance that it's real, right? Like a real, believable, you know, reason to suspect it. But I don't blame people who take a different stance on that one, I guess. I don't know if you've seen, but data mining has shown Bedrock will get the same animal spawning system Java has, which is that they only spawn on chunk generation and barely respawn afterwards. Wait, that's how Java works, KMB? That sounds like insanity. Why would they barely spawn? Why would Java players want that system? Like, I literally don't understand how anyone could think that that's good. So if you could explain, that'd be cool. Actually, wait, you know what I can use? I made this big area right here, and I'm gonna dig it out. I could use it as a way to get my boat out of there, right? If I just make it slightly wider. Yeah, that seems like a good idea right there. Did you know that gilded ocelots are being added to Minecraft? But yeah, that sounds bad. There's got to be a good reason. Also, lettuce in the thumbnail, huh? You turning into a guinea pig? Oh, the thumbnail changed, and that's why the lettuce thing has come up. I thought it was a reference to the lettuce play thing. Also, what's your favorite country visited? Hashtag jet ski fun. Man, that's an old reference. That is an old reference. So, my favorite country I've been to, out of all the ones so far, I don't know, like, I feel like the one I would recommend most, because it's most interesting, would be somewhere like Japan, I would say. My personal favorite is probably Singapore. I love that it exists. There is something about going there as a British person that is just like, this is cool. I have a real preference for Anglosphere countries because as much as you want to understand the culture and the history behind places, you just can't do it if you can't understand the people in those places. You know, or at least it goes through a barrier first. A lot of people, this is one of my like controversial takes, but I think English replacing national languages is actually a good thing for world culture. Like, we don't talk about how much better, because some people say, well, our culture can only be preserved in our language. To change the languages, to change the culture. But it's like, no, we switched to Arabic numerals, right? We all standardized, even though, you know, in the West we had our own numeral system, we all standardized to the best numeral system of the time, the Arabic numerals, and now you can understand numbers no matter where you are. That's an improvement. That's good. My hot take, at least, apparently. We'll see. I'm going to go see if my bamboo farm is running, because I guess it probably needs to be. I visited Singapore again last year, although very different when I lived there over 12 years ago. You've lived in Singapore, KMB? How has that never come up? How has that come up 0 times? I'm so curious. What's the place you visited with the lowest population? I was in the Vatican City, Carlisle. I took an e-scooter there, actually. But assuming you don't count the Vatican and you want the real country with the lowest population, Irandora, no, San Marino, I think, has like 10,000 people. San Marino, it might be 30,000 actually. It's kind of high. 33,000 people live in San Marino. I drove there actually. I went there at the same time I went to the Vatican actually. If you want to watch the video, I'll find out what it's called. IBX 2Cat San Marino. It's called This Mountain Has As Many... No, it's not. Journey across Europe to the world's smallest countries. Hello, I'm Toycat. Should we watch it together, actually? You know, let's watch one of my favorite countries I've been to. We'll make sure that this is running first, actually. It always stops running the moment you go away from it. Minecarts aren't a very effective tool for doing things. Also, there's a cat in here. I'm sorry. That's just an inefficiency in the machine. I'm sorry. You can't have cats sitting in your machinery. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna spin the minecart round. Make sure it's going. Then I'll show you the country I've been to of the smallest population. Okay, so it's been a while since I've done this, chat. Let's see if I can't. Okay, so I don't have YouTube Premium on this account, so just keep that in mind. Here we go.
Hello, I'm Toycat, and did you know that the 5 smallest non-island nations on Earth all belong to Europe? They're all about the size of a medium city or smaller, but they have their own laws and passports and even international recognition. They have a population which is lower than a bad Geography Channel subscriber count, but despite that...
Yeah, yes, you bet. I have more subscribers than all 3 of those places put together. Yeah, you better believe that's real.
On Earth, this is an important thing. But also, if you just want to say you've been to as many countries as possible, they're a great way to pad your stats. I would say visiting Monaco or Andorra or Liechtenstein is a great way to boost your country count, which is why I did that in 2017 and 18, and that is why I figured, let's tick off the last of the micro countries, let's set foot inside of San Marino and the Vatican City, which is actually harder than it sounds, because they're both fully enclaved inside of Italy, they don't have their own airports, and in fact, it's going to be a bit of an adventure, so come along with me as I try to visit the last 2 micro countries in Europe in the midst of a very strange Italian situation. But let's go to the
what was that?
micro countries in Europe.
Was this during
in
COVID?
The midst of
a super green pass. Oh yeah. I went to Italy while they were requiring the green pass. I forgot about that. That was a weird one. No one cared, but like they technically required it.
Italian situation. But let's go to the airport now.
Whee! Yeah, the audio in this is a little bit unbalanced. But look, I flew to Italy, and it was I think the second time I'd ever rented a car. And I had to walk to the rental car center. I didn't know how it worked.
I definitely saw a sign that said car rental this way, but no idea where exactly. Like.
So they wouldn't rent me the car because I hadn't been driving for enough years. It was a whole thing.
Price in Italy, despite them being in the UK, the only company where you don't need that requirement. Although I'm a little bit suspicious because they said something like, but our company, because they have a local affiliate, you can rent anytime. And basically they said, yeah, we can only rent to you if you rent via us. Also, it costs extra, and so it's like 100 and something euros as opposed to 80 euros. Felt a little bit, and also I can't return to, I was going to go to the Vatican City with this car, drive it, return it there, but now instead I have to return it here or pay 86 euros, which again, all very nutty, all seems like a lot, but I'm in a car, look at this, it's a Lancia. I've genuinely never heard of a Lancia. It's all very foreign to me. Why is this sticking out here?
Some people, this is the funniest thing. So this is like the second time I've driven a car since getting a license, because I don't own a car. I don't want or need to own a car in my day-to-day life. There's just some places you can only go with them. So I recorded me driving a car for like a very decent amount of time, including, weirdly enough, this like blew my mind. I'm like just driving through Italy, like again, second drive ever, and it's like, oh, look, this is what Italy looks like, right? This is what you expect. And then like I'm like 20, 30 minutes in and it snows. And I'm like, okay, I've learned zero about how driving in the snow works, so let's hope that the roads are fine. But yeah, what's funny about this is so I think it's at this point over here. Oh wait, here's me in San Marino eating ice cream. Here's me being very sad because I'm in a town. Oh, I ended up in a town just desperately trying to get into a hotel. Hotels stop letting you in at like 10 p.m. for some weird reason, but this one let me in. Look at the cat.
Oh, that's so cute. Where did you come from? Okay, I want to stay here now.
I did stay at the hotel. The cats were a great selling point. Anyway, so in the morning I drove to Rome to get to the Vatican. Did I do this right? I think I did this. Yeah, look at this. Look at that smooth driving, chat. Perfectly getting over the line as it goes away.
Just how much speed you sometimes have on these roads.
But yeah, everyone in Italy just drives like a ludicrous amount over the speed limit. Like if it says 110, 130 is dangerously slow, which I thought was interesting. But also, so yeah, I stop at this petrol station. They go by New Jersey rules or something there. They say you can do it yourself, but they're like, but we'll do it. Hey, there was a guy right in my window as I was saying. Oh no! So look at that. They fuel your car and they clean you at the same time. But yeah, so it was in this part of the video where I realized the whole time I'd been driving with my handbrakes slightly up, which apparently means brakes. I am only 10 kilometers from Rome. Officially, I think what you're meant to do is like stop, get that checked immediately. But again, I've got left. So yeah, I'd just been driving with the handbrake like very slightly up for an ungodly amount of time. But yeah, I dropped the car off in the most chaotic parking situation in the world. Everyone double parks. Look how it's too much, internet. Look at the way they're parking.
Also, I love how many people park sideways. Yeah, it's a chaotic city.
Okay, a car portion.
Anyway, then I got on an e-scooter and I rode the e-scooter into the Vatican City. Here is me in the world's least populated country.
But yeah, she's super religious, and hopefully she enjoys seeing me.
She did enjoy that I went there. Oh, I think I was playing Minecraft. Welcome back. Wait, the minecarts came back? Okay, so... Oh, I'm sending them off in different directions. Of course that's going to happen. So yeah, there's a travel video of Toy Cat. I'm back. What did you talk about for 40 minutes? We just watched videos of me. I'm pretty sure that's all we did. Don't think we did anything else, nor did we need to. Yeah, so if I send them round this way, they're inevitably just going to keep crashing into each other. Honestly, is there a solution to this, chat? This was the mother of all tangents. Yeah, you better believe. That's the way I like it. Welcome back. Did you bring the milk? I did not bring the milk, sadly. Why do so many people have smart cars? Well, I mean, if you can only park a smart car, it makes sense that you should get a smart car, right? And I'm just following the logic where it takes me. So I'm gonna now make a bunch of bamboo into sticks, and I'm gonna show you the basics of my plan to get. So if I want to get Wither 2, right, which I do, you have to trade all the way with Fletcher until he gives you his arrows. And then if he doesn't give you Wither 2, you trade with another Fletcher, which we'll do right now as an example. So I'll get sticks and sticks and sticks and sticks. And I'll trade with this man again and 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 again. Preferably while using a tool that I actually need to have repaired. And so this will allow me to get a ton of emeralds, which I guess is useful for something. But I'm specifically going for the... I specifically would like to get the Wither 2 arrows, because for some reason they're still available. I thought it was like a temporary bug, but there's nothing as permanent as a temporary Bedrock bug. And so we can trade in here. Oh, there we go. Until we get to the top level, and then we find this guy offers a crossbow. So I think it's that there are 16 types of arrows you can get, and then there's a 50% chance you don't even get arrows. So I need to get at least 32, but realistically more than that, villagers up to the level where they'll sell me their arrows. So I have to do this like again and again and again, lots and lots and lots of times. But the upside is I'll get a ton of experience, or rather I get a ton of experience, a ton of emeralds, and then I can turn those emeralds back into experience. Because I've got a cleric who will sell me at a rate of 1 emerald, which is very, very advantageous. These XP bottles, which gives me experience just for trading them, and then I can throw them at a wall too. Look at this. So yeah, this is my little project I think I'd like to do for a stream, maybe for a video. I don't know. What I'm having this like crisis sometimes of like, what is the best way to do some things? Chat, is a stream or a video more appropriate for this? I don't know. Also, ooh, wait, you can right-click the trade. Just like right-click the trade. It's so much faster. Is that how you do it on a keyboard and mouse? I know you can do it on a controller way easier. I didn't know you could do it on a keyboard and mouse. Let me try it. Let me try it. Okay, so I'm gonna take some bamboo. Gonna make 2 stacks of sticks. Wait, I have to make more than that. I have to make like this many sticks. Okay, sticks. I'm gonna go find a villager. This man over here will do. No, he won't. This man over here won't do. This man over here is gonna do fine. Okay, I'm gonna right-click the that's how you do it. That's real. See, love that. Also, I enjoyed the bike video, says Bird for Life. I feel like I need to clarify because some person was like, "Wow, it's really sunny there in London for January." I think it was recorded like last summer, like 2023. No, 2020. Yeah, 2023. Wow, I was a younger person then. I have quite a few bike and talk videos that I just never uploaded. I temporarily. So one of the issues I'm having, I guess, kind of like this is what I'm talking about. Like, also if I. Oh, I'm not thinking about it. I'm trying to work out what I can and can't delegate, chat. Like what I can and can't do myself. And it's kind of a challenge. Because there are some things that you always are going to need to do some amount of yourself, or you will lose quality. Also, so weird, Heather. Interesting. Why does this light need those on there? What does this achieve, chat? It feels like it's not meant to be that way. I should build more terrible Twitter things. Also, now your trading experience is 100% faster. Yeah, that'll make a big difference to my right-clicking is your best friend in interfaces. Yeah, apparently it is. Okay, so now I'm going to go back down. I'm going to finish the sugarcane farm bottom while I can. I've got a bit of a messy inventory, so I'll try and fix that first, though. G'day, Toy Cat and Toy Chat. Hope you're all desert well, says Diggin' Troops. Hope I did a service to your accent. You excited for the immense quality of life increase that the pausing feature will bring to you soon? Yeah, actually. I don't think it will apply while I'm on a ramp. Also, video out. Hey, yeah. So if you want to learn my feelings on the leak, as well as on the the spring drop and all that stuff, I got you covered. I worry about like repeating stuff basically. I think you should get a better experience for being a stream and a video watcher rather than a worse one, if at all possible. Okay, so now I'm gonna put the sticks in here, or maybe I should just make torches. I guess I need to make torches anyway, but I'll make them later. No, I'll make them now. Let's make a whole stack of torches. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then put 3 of those away, and now the box is full. What do I do with this dragon egg, chat? I clearly need to do something with it. But that can be future me's problem, I guess. Okay, and then I'll take the cobbled deep slate out, put the block of bamboo in there. And then I'll go put the... I'll keep the cobbled deep slate because I know I'm going to use more, actually. Ooh, that'll be my pre-bed video. And then a winking face, Jake Riley. What do you mean with the winking face? What are you going to... You know what? It's not my... As a creator, the moment I put the video out there, it becomes a part of the world's enjoyment. Yeah, what's interesting is that pausing still works if you turn on multiplayer in a local world, if you're the only one playing. Yeah, I know it is weird that it works on a single-player multiplayer world, but I'm so glad because Minecraft turns on multiplayer by default. That felt like one of the biggest catches that they would definitely get us with, and they didn't get us with it, so happy, I guess. Also, I'm gonna just dig out random holes in this wall so that I can let light through. I guess I should use another source of light, really. Yeah, that's something I should look into. Are you gonna get back to the Trims Nomad run? I'm excited to see more of it. Yeah, actually, I am. So this is one of the things, chat. I think one of the struggles is working out. So how do I make those streams and all of those hours of content into a good video? I think I can answer. I think it takes a ludicrous amount of time. And I have done it in the past, but like knowing who is a good fit and like how much direction to give them, etc., is a challenge. So yeah, I've been working on the Nomad video as well as the Igloo video for the summarization of that run. They were both meant to be out while I was gone, but like I think rather than putting them out in an unfinished state, I've decided to put a lot more like work into making sure that they are better. And that caused me a huge amount of stress. Like, there was going to be a 3-day period where there were no uploads on the channel. But I think it's worth it to try and make sure that it's a good video. For Bray, I haven't checked this channel in a long time. Glad you're still here, Toycat. Thank you. And yeah, that's kind of like by accident, you are proving a point I made earlier. Because I said like, oh yeah, so people assume on YouTube that staying around, is the default state. But it kind of is the opposite. And, but yeah, I am still here. Hopefully, you'll still be here at some point in the future. Also, can you go back to the Igloo first? So that could be your first 100 days hardcore. This is a Karsh Warrior. Yeah, you think that's how I should do it? You think it should be a proper 100-day survival? Maybe you're right. I'm also glad Toycat hasn't been taken out by the feds. Good to see you, Adam Sony. But by the way, I would also like to take a moment to say so outside of some people who like I don't know what the word for this is, right? But there are people who are just excited for hate. They wanna learn what the thing you're allowed to hate and is socially acceptable. So I got a lot of that on my channel recently. But I also got some people who like I really respect being like, oh yeah, so here's why I disagree with this take. I appreciate when people can say that respectfully. I got a few of those on the channel, and yours is one of those, Adam Sony. And thank you for not sending the feds after me, even though I'm sure you have the connections to do so. Much obliged. So yeah. Also, there we go. We've now made the sugarcane farm slightly more effective. Look at that. Isn't that great, chat? Isn't that great? I need to work out a light solution still, and I need to deal with this, apparently. But otherwise, pretty happy. Also, we're in slime chunks, but that sounds like a future me problem. Actually, chat, I'm going to do this as a poll. Keep in mind, I'm going to ignore the poll and do my own thing anyway. But what do you think should come first? Okay, so start a poll. Which stream series to continue? Nomad Run igloo core. Okay. So I'm ignoring. Just to be clear, I'm ignoring your responses. You don't get to dictate what I do. This is a dictate. I'm playing this Mojang rules, but I'm curious what people would pick. But again, you know this is North Korea democracy. You're gonna vote, and I'm gonna tell you that you voted wrong, and I'm gonna tell you what you did want to vote for. But I am curious about your votes anyway. Yeah, make sure that I'm on the. I want to know how much I've got to doctor that election result by, if you know what I'm saying. But yeah, it's always enjoyed your content. Working on videos at about 5 years ago. Wow, that's going way back. So yeah, I appreciate the appreciation. I appreciate your appreciation of my appreciation. We can do this all day. I was about to exclaim, Toycat doing a poll. Pick the opposite of what you want. Yeah, that's why I'm being very clear with people that there is one outcome that is expected. I'm just kidding. I was curious, like, as to in my mind, the igloo core is the way more exciting one, but I hope people are excited for Nomad because it's the one I think makes the most sense to do first. I think there's a pretty decent video to be had from the igloo stuff, but maybe there's a more decent video to be had from the other thing. I downloaded the Let's Play World map last night, and it was very fun, but I died in many strange and horrifying ways, including some TNT traffic gravel lovers. Yeah, you better believe it. I followed a TikTok tutorial for that one. So if you're wondering where the amazingly high quality comes from, now you know the answer. Also, I still think I've got a lot of items in here I need to take up. 47 slime balls, why not? A bunch of stone. And you want more slime balls? Sure. Gravel. I think I took up everything of value, clearly, besides cobblestone and tough. I'll bring up the clay, actually. That feels valuable, even though I don't know where it goes. And then 2 stacks of cobblestone, because that also feels valuable. And now we can say we've done a substantial amount of work, despite kind of just goofing off and having a chat. Which is something I really liked here, chat. It's okay. Any survival tips for Storm Ewan tomorrow? It says Minecraft and chill. So that's what. Good to see you, by the way, Minecraft and chill. How are you doing today? Apparently, it does. The tip is you've just got to live south of Liverpool, and then it won't affect you. And so my pro tip is move to it's been clear for a while now that governments only care about south of Liverpool anyway. So if you live south of there, you won't die in a hurricane. That's my pro tip. It's like learning like there's a terrible like hurricane in America, and you're like, and then you're like, oh, it's just like 1/3 of Florida. And it's like, well, people live in 1/3 of Florida knowing they get hurricanes. Are there any weird McDonald's videos from your trip there? Yeah, Dan Marsh. I went to McDonald's in France. I think that's the title. And if you're curious as to what France is, then, living south of Liverpool is always a pro tip. Yeah, I know. It's also they sent a siren to my phone saying don't go outside, so I'm going to go outside. I would do the same. I don't blame you. Don't blame you in the slightest. I've been really enjoying the Nomad run, even with the latest stream being so long ago. Looking forward to seeing you finish it. I'm glad to hear. Yeah, that's the one that I'm excited about, because I genuinely don't know if I'm going to achieve it. But also, I have decent faith now. I've gotten past the point where I felt like, yeah, there's no way. And I'm back into optimism, which is great. So this is ice and clay. Where does my... Wait, no, ice and snow. I've got to have a place that clay goes. Chat, do I not have a clay spot? Are you my clay spot? You're just a chest full of cobbled deep slate. The cobblestone can go in here. Easy. Is there clay in the middle here somewhere? This would be a good place for clay. There we go, clay. Found it. I generally won't ever get why people choose to live in Florida. I get it, right? But also, everyone who's making the decision is making it under the assumption of, at some point, I will have to evacuate my home because of a disastrous flood or hurricane. At least that's my understanding. I'm sorry if you live in Florida and you're like, wait, there are floods and hurricanes here. But everyone is making that assumption. It's priced into the place, right? You get to live in a place with 0% income tax where you're allowed to do anything you want all of the time, but in exchange, you might die. And it's not the worst trade-off in the world. Knowing that at foreign McDonald's, you always go for the weirdest option, what's your actual McDonald's usual at home? I kind of like the weird option. I've had to start telling myself recently to stop going for the weird McDonald's option because I'll just enjoy a Big Mac more. Like, you try enough pizza burgers that don't taste like pizza or burger, and you're like, this isn't doing it for me anymore. But yeah, other than that. Okay, so I think I have to get some more paper. I'm going to turn some sugarcane into paper right now, in fact. Because yeah, we got a lot of sugarcane. It's always hard to know how much we actually need. Sharon Hall, you didn't read my chat. Oh, now I can't read your chat if your only chat is you didn't read my chat. That brings the question, does Florida make you crazy, or do crazy people make Florida? I think if you live, I think that Americans have a much higher value on social. I don't know how to put this in the. I want to make sure I get this right. It's a complicated thought, but a lot of people think America is all about the money. It's not, but because it is a larger amount about money than some countries are, the second value people really care about is like social grace, being, you want to be respected, I guess you could say. And so people who do not act respectable are a much bigger target for fixation of like, they did what? And then because it becomes a bigger target, the craziest cases when you see them, they become even bigger. Florida has an interesting thing in particular. If their arrest records are public, so anything anyone is arrested for can immediately make the news there, which means that the news knows that people want to hear about all sorts of improprieties, people being socially correct, and then that means that the craziest of those make international news, and then the Florida man thing is born. Whereas I think I think they're probably like 10% less, more unruly than the average United Statesian. But that's just my take. I might be vastly off on that one. Someone needs to help Kian. So Kat, I was wondering if you could make another Broken Seed video, like another channel or YouTube videos. Yeah, I think I do want to talk about rare broken seeds a bit more. Hey, Battery Brains, thank you for remembering to the channel. Lost at the end there, but it was great till then. Oh, I have a dripstone farm happening over there. Or do I? Why is there dripstone on the ground up there, chat? There's probably a good explanation. I just don't know what it is. Also, Florida Andrew. Florida Andrew indeed. But yeah, I think looking at this world, you could still see there's some room for improvement. I think we have to like move the mountain inwards, maybe. I think that area could do with like regrassing. Let's regrass it. Let's regrass that area. As a Floridian myself, I can safely say crazy is everywhere. Florida just seems to be, hold my insert beverage of choice. Yeah, but I don't know, but okay, so bear in mind, I went to Florida when I went to Florida pre 9/11 in like 99 or 2000 maybe. I went when I was like a child. It was the very first international place I ever went, was the United States. And so then I only went back. Thank you, Jake, for gifting a member. Was that Polly that the member went to? Wow, it was. Thank you very much. Also, yeah, so I'm going to grab some grass and dirt, and then we're going to fill in this little patch over here. But yeah, so my experience is biased, but I went to Miami recently. Like, I never really went back to Florida after being you know, a child, I guess. And I went back recently, and it is wild what people get up to over there, is my main point, I guess. Like, Florida is a place that is, so in Miami, they have, what I might call, like, Latin American traffic horn rules. So everyone's just honking all the time. When I got the Uber from the airport to the city, for the first time, there was a thing that was like, watch out, someone's driving the wrong way down the highway. And, you know, my Uber driver didn't notice because my Uber driver was scrolling Instagram reels at the time. So, like, you know, there's something about Florida that means that I do think that there are a lot of upstanding, great people there. But also, there are some crazies. Which, I guess you could say that's like that's me trying to describe it. You know, I guess you could say I'm just being nice. But I do believe, genuinely out of the bottom of my heart, that is true. That there are some crazy Floridians. But there are some nice ones in there too. Also, hey, thank you for becoming a channel member. Thank you very much. Hey, 422, very exciting. Yeah, we had a really interesting thing occur actually with channel members while I was gone. So I think I mentioned this before, where usually you lose members when a channel goes away for a bit. There's like an expectation you lose members because some number of people are only gonna remember if they're actively watching a live stream, right? Some number of people will just be like, you know, I haven't watched one in like a week, let's say. It's a natural thing. It's slightly scary as a creator, but you know, it's a natural part of live streaming. It's not one that you can really fret too much if you want to stay sane. So, also I'm going to remove more of these mountains. So that is precisely what I'm going to do now. I'm going to just remove, and then also try and get these parts. I'll just put that back actually. I think that's the easiest thing to do about that. But yeah, so there's I think also Toycat, I haven't been here in a while. Good to see you, the 3DS guy. There's a natural downward state to every single piece of entertainment media on the internet. I think honestly, something that would help a lot of people out to understand. Also, Larry Dannery, being a member is cool. Florida is more iffy. I think it does a lot of people some good to analyze their perspective of the world. As the world is in constant decline, and as humans, sometimes we can reverse that decline temporarily. I think it is an unhealthy view to assume that the world is awesome, except in the very particular ways that it's not, and that fixing those things can be done really easily, and we just choose not to. Because, you know, I think even for your own, like, mental health, to assume that, like, you know, for example, like, homelessness, the fact that you could just solve homelessness if you just snap your fingers, or, like, I think, like, some people say, like, all it would cost is 7 billion, or they'll come up with some low number. You'll be like, wait, why do we have people sleeping on the street if it's that easy? And it's like, no, you're conflating a lot of issues together. No matter if you gave some number of people houses, they first of all wouldn't choose to live there. So you're saying involuntary homelessness first, and then you're also assuming that, like, okay, are those houses in the places people want to live? Because that's like the actual struggle. Is we have enough homes on the planet to house all the people. We have enough beds and all of the other things. The problem is getting them where they need to be. And that's the actual, like, okay, so are you willing to put houses here, there, that becomes an actual question. And that's when you start to encounter, like, real resistance of people with very valid concerns saying, like, no, the thing I want in life more than anything else is not to live around other people. You are infringing on my rights if you tell me that I have to live by people. Like, it's quite a common belief, especially, this is, like, one of the biggest differences between, I think, to my mind, like, European cities and American cities, is that outside of New York, even in cities, Americans are like, if I have to live near another person, it's not worth it. You can pay me $100K a year, but I'm just not doing it. If that means that I have to, you know, have a wall of my house that is shared with the wall of someone else's house. The what's the word? The single-family detached home. Is very interesting to me, that the implications that come from that. But it's like the biggest benefit of living in a big country is in theory everyone should have a bunch of land, and there is enough space for everyone to have a lot of land. But then some people want to have land that is in a particular place, but that still want to live in places that are with a lot of space around you, which just fundamentally doesn't work on like a traffic management level, on like a resources level. It becomes very expensive. And can you solve that problem? Wow, that's a lot harder than just spending 7 billion or whatever the number someone will summon up is. But also, you don't get to claim that, you know, like you're in the right and everyone else is in the wrong, which is why no one will talk about it. But is why it's important. Mental health is overrated. It seems to mostly come from assuming life is something that happens to you that you have no control over. Do you think mental health comes from that, you're saying? Like, you'll be mentally healthy if you assume life just comes at you? I kind of think the opposite. I kind of think, like, the thing that helps most in life is appreciating what you can and can't control. There are lots of factors that feel like you are in control of them, but you are not. And there are lots of things where you feel like you're not in control, but you are. And getting a healthy relationship balance between those two things is hard, but worth doing. If I used to live in a house with shared wall, it was pretty uncomfy, but if it's affordable and I can get it for a reasonable price, I'll do it. So right now, Naito, you live in a house of no shared walls. It's every wall in your house, top, bottom, side, they're all just you. Like, maybe I'm just too much of a frugal person, but I'm like, your heating bills must be so high. You have to, every time you heat your house, it just escapes out one of the walls. Whereas on both sides of me, like, 57 centimeters that way, there is a bedroom. Like someone else's house, I should say. And then like 1.5 meters that way, there's someone else's house. And that's a terrace house, so you can live in a flat, so it'd be the same above and below. Also, being a member is cool, and Florida's more iffy. Wait, was that? No, it was Jura gifting a membership. Also, interestingly, people were very close to split on Igloo Core versus Nomad Run. Again, ignoring the results, though, I just want to... I said that going into it. I'll say it coming out. Still living with my parents, but it's not super cold over here. Oh, yeah, I guess... but your AC bill, surely. You're putting all the cold in your house, and it goes out all of the walls. But no, I guess not the ground. You have a good relationship with the ground, I hope. But yeah, I do think if you don't want to do the thing you can control, just say you can't control it. If you don't want to do the thing you can control, just say you can't control it. Easy fix. Yeah, which, you know, like, then becomes, like... To be fair, though, like, a part of me is like, oh, that's an easy way out. But it's like, yeah, easy way outs are so much of solving a problem. Like, some people feel like they cannot accept a way out from their problems. They're like, no, the only solution to this is if it is perfect. Accepting, like, 80% of perfect probably goes a long way to fixing a lot of problems for a lot of people. Man, this place needs a lot of manicuring to make it look better, I think. I don't think I'm going to do that right now. Actually, I'll take the grass, though.
Random, I have no common walls to my house toy cat tax.
You have no common wall. Wow. You know what? Okay. You know what? Anyone out here who has all their walls, you own all the walls. They're yours. You know, if you've got four walls money, if you've got 100% ownership of all the walls, that feels like a reason for a toy cat tax right there. Wow, you know, that's a lot of walls you own. You blow air in and it just goes right out. You know, you know, I know, like, if there's a terror attack, you know, if there's a big explosion that goes off in your neighborhood, you know, you've got no one protecting you. You know how when you cross the street and there's like 100 people crossing, and you know if a car hits someone, most of that energy is going in the first person, and then the only energy that's going to hit you is if the first person hits you. You know, like, you know how much safer it feels when there's 100 people crossing the road versus one? You know, they have to hit us all. I feel that way about houses. Like, if some natural disaster were to strike, like, I've got a bunch of neighbors either side, it's going to hit them first. I'm going to be just fine. All of my walls and live alone, 3 bedrooms, Angel Jones. Wow, we got some fancy people out here. You know, that's how I'll now be applying the toy cat tax. It's going to be proportional to the number of wolves you own. But no, I'm very it just seems like it's going to come with as many problems as upsides. I'll trust that you've looked into it and that is not true. But yeah, so just to be clear, I really hate having a neighbor sometimes. I talk about it. I try to be so friendly with my neighbors, but I learned too late what is expected from you as a neighbor. Like in my last house chat, I had the best neighbors. On one side, I had an old man, who I think was like, I would sometimes smile at the lady looking after him. It was a great relationship, and our houses didn't connect because we had an alleyway between us. I think he owned the alleyway. I don't know why he got to own the alleyway, but so I had a neighbor like that on one side. Then on the other side, on the other side, I had like some Eastern European neighbors, we had zero interaction, zero noise. One time I was fighting with my girlfriend about how we should pick up weeds, and she was like, it can't be done without gloves. And I'm like, but like, I do it without gloves. Yeah, it was a whole thing. And then she just over the fence, she just drops a pair of gloves. And I was like, look, I've solved your problem for you. You're welcome. That was a great relationship. Whereas I have kind of like the opposite going on right now. Like I just every month or two, there's some way in which my neighbor thinks I've infringed upon her rights. And I have to like deal with that, and I know it comes with a lot of stuff with it. Like my neighbor believes we shouldn't have bins, for example. she's not a fan of the fact that I got a bin for the house to put my rubbish in. You know, there's a lot of fun things like that. My only neighbor's an old guy too, and he's deaf, so I don't want to worry about noise. Yeah, I feel bad. I do have to concede. If you live in a society where you share walls, or if you live in a house where you share walls, you're gonna like or dislike your neighbors so much more. Cause my brother shared a story once of when we were like, when we were very young.
Avoiding YouTube tax.
Thank you, Jira. Man, how is your life going? Every time I speak to you, it seems like it's on the upswing, which is good. I'm pleased to hear it, man. Will you ever do Nomad again? Says Liland the Custodian. Yes. I think that's probably gonna be my next stream, actually. I'll decide based on something else. May your neighbor move along swiftly and peacefully. Oh no, I thought she got it. She's like in her 40s, 50s. I thought she got it. No, she's. But also, you kind of want to have neighbors that are uptight more than like. You want to have neighbors who are annoyed more than you want to have neighbors that are annoying. See, this is my like. I want to see the other side of every argument. And so even though I've got a neighbor who's like actively just like, I don't know, like, you know, it's reminding, it's like having a mother, but without, you know, it's been such a great, you know, like, it's got all the yelling, you know, from my childhood, but with none of the nurturing or apologies that are meant to come with it. So, also I'm picking up a lot of amethyst crystals. I don't know what I meant to do with these, but it's cool that I have so many, huh? Yeah, you know, everyone needs an old woman to yell at them in their life every now and then. Just to remind you, like, oh yeah, this is a thing that people just like to do. So I try to trade lemons for my neighbor's limes. You know, see, that seems like a good relationship. My old neighbors used to blast loud music. I hated them. Yeah, exactly. I'd rather have someone that's so annoyed at the most minor infraction, because at least, you know, at least if they're morally consistent, so they're not committing the same infraction. I never hear loud music from them. I never hear anything. I think I can hear them going up the stairs, and they can hear me going up the stairs if we're both on the stairs at the same time. Because, like, our stairs are... Like, there's my stairs, there's a wall, then there's her stairs. But yeah, I feel like... Also, Amethyst Forest is a Karsh warrior. Now you're talking. That's an idea right there. I think I need to find more Amethyst Geodes. Because even if I spend a lot of time going through these, I don't actually pick up a lot of Amethyst. Do I have any more space to pick up more? If I drop that, I definitely do. So we'll just mine the rest of these blocks here. Get a lot more amethyst. I could combine them together to make blocks of amethyst, I guess. But that I don't want to do it yet until I know for sure that's what I want to do. Even though I guess the question is, what else would I do? But yeah, I don't understand the logic of being mad at someone who's probably taking care of their trash, like what someone's going to do. No. Their argument was I should take it. There's like a bin across the street that isn't not meant to be used, but they have the access code for. I don't. Illegal isn't the right word, but it's breaching a social convention or two. But then that way you don't have to have bins in front of your house. And a lot of people really don't like bins because they literally are rubbish. Like having that in front of your house is a big thing. I actually no. I now that I think about it, in my old house, I had so I had a garden that was this wide. Like I don't think I'm exaggerating. Actually, it might be as wide as like, yeah, like about, you couldn't lay down diagonally and you couldn't sit in it, but it was wide enough to store a bin, and then the bin would take up 90% of its width. So I had a garden that wide, and so but the bin people won't pick it up if it's on your property. It has to be on the street. So I just left my bin on the street, and at one point,
My walls are so thin that my neighbors can probably hear this text to speech. Hello
neighbors. Oh yeah, that's the real, I think the actual thing that determines whether you hate living by people is, do you have good walls or not? If you have proper insulation, like walls are meant to not allow noise through. So if you've had bad neighbors and you have bad insulation, because like no one buys an apartment based on the quality of the noise insulation. It's honestly, I think it's like one of the biggest like things that needs to be like, I think that the quality of insulation and the quality of noise isolation should be the biggest determining factor in whether you buy an apartment or not. Like there needs to be some standard, how much noise do you need to get to before it goes through the walls? If you have those paper thin walls, I feel nervous like watching or hearing anything. SOFP, I'm feeling your situation right now. I'm like, oh, I don't want my neighbors hearing me. That makes me uncomfortable. Also, do I have another one over here? Oh, I do, chat. What do I do about all of these? Besides get out of here. I think I did actually work on a way out of here. I've just forgotten where that is. Is it up here? Does this go somewhere else? Oh, no. This is the way out. That needs to be better signposted. But yeah, bin is a trash can, right? Yeah. It's owned by the local government. And in exchange for me paying them, I don't know, like £1,000 a year, they pick up and they take it to the dump. Okay, so yeah, if you have kids, old ladies always think they know your children better, and then say the most out-of-pocket things to your child when they have a slight upset. Oh yeah. I feel it though, right? Like I think there comes. I think for a lot of people, I don't know why, but there is like, it's a particular problem with...
Thank you for coming back. Really missed a good convo in Minecraft streams.
Thank you, Twisted, so much for the tip. I'm glad that people are glad I'm back. Yeah, the worst feeling, I think the one that like sunk in, that I had to like just cut myself off from the internet and be like, I can't deal with this now and I shouldn't deal with it now. You get this real feeling, and you'll see, you know, like there is this real deep sunken in feeling of like, man, people must hate you. You did this, you know, like and I think it's annoying, and you should never admit this to the internet, so I'll deny it if you ever claim that I said this, chat. But it makes me feel like deeply pained on the inside when I feel like people irrationally hate me, right? It's one of the reasons why I think hatred is such an important emotion to get rid of. Like it's such a, it's the only, you know, it's a poison potion, but it hurts the glass around it. You know, it's a negative emotion that the world would be better off without, but it hurts anyway. But it's nice to be seeing so many people come back and supporting this stream. I'm glad you've been enjoying it, and yeah, I've got 2 big things I'll be doing this week. I will eventually be getting back to the Igloo Core run, but I want to have a video for that first. I've got some exciting plans for it. And I'll also be getting back to the Nomad series. It's going to be exciting. And then I'm also going to be going for the rare arrows. Lots of plans. Going to be a lot of fun. And we can see you for that one in the next stream. I'm not sure when that'll be. Tomorrow or Saturday, I guess. I'm trying to get a... I think I'm going to try and build myself a Monday to Friday schedule. But we'll see how that goes tomorrow. I just want to go to Audi chat. What am I missing at Audi? What's come into the Audi sphere recently? Are there new things that I should be excited for? Also, people don't hate you; they don't GAF. Yeah. People like you know, there are people who want to hate, but they just don't have it in them to actually hate for that long. Like they've got too much hatred and too many targets for it. And I'm glad about that, I guess. I'm glad that there is a limit to how much humans are willing to hate each other. Please don't go to Audi, I beg. You know, you don't go to Audi. How about that? But yeah, we're gonna do some big stuff soon, including the Nomad run. So it'll be a lot of fun. Thank you for watching, and go watch the live stream. Sorry, go watch the video. It's called "This Bedrock Only Update is Awesome." Yeah. Audi is where you go if you want to give your therapist more work. I've heard about AI therapists. Should we do one of those together, chat? Okay, I'm going to go do an AI therapist. AI therapist. Fire your AI mental health. Okay, so abby.gg. Start chatting now. Don't make me log in. Don't make me do it. It's making me log in. Oh, it says free instant access. You hit talk now though, and it's like register. Earkick, your personal AI therapist chatbot. Chat with Panda. Okay, Dr. Panda, I need you to talk to me. Okay, so let's go chat with the. I should probably log out from Minecraft. I'm gonna do this actually. Let's go tell the AI therapist my issues. Hello there. How can I help you? What happened today? Today was great, actually. That's wonderful here. What made your day great? All of the nice people on the internet. It's amazing how positive interactions online can brighten our day. Can you share a more specific interaction or moment that stood out to you? No. That's completely fine. Sometimes knowing people are nice can be nice enough. How are you feeling about today overall? Good. Glad you're hearing that. Feeling good is something to celebrate. Anything you're looking forward to in the coming days? No. That's okay. Sometimes enjoying the present moment enough. Any activities or interests you enjoy? No. I appreciate your honesty. How do you feel in your body right now? No. That's okay. I'm here to talk when you're ready to share. Is there anything else you mind you'd like to talk about? Can you tell me why people hate me? I'm really sorry you're feeling that way. Can you tell me what's making you feel that way? No reason, lol. I understand that sometimes these come out of nowhere. What emotions do you notice when you think about it? I'm gonna give him a little emoji. 2 heart eyes. There we go. That's what he needs to hear right now. It sounds... Oh, okay, so the chatbot knows what's going on here. Anyway, with that said, I hope you all enjoyed today's live stream, everybody. And I'll see you in the next one. Unless I don't. Oh, Minecraft and Knuckles. That's fun. That's a good little message. So with that said, I hope you enjoyed. I can't end streams, chat. I'm just not able to. Should get that looked into. Wait, I know who can help me with that. Wait, I know exactly who can help me with that. I have a problem where I can't end live streams. I just keep talking and talking. I don't know when to hit stop. That makes sense. It's easy to get caught up in the moment. What do you think that might help you recognize when it's time to wrap up? Maybe when I start saying goodbye, I should mean it. That sounds like a good approach. Committing to your goodbye could signal the end effectively. What emotions come up for you when you think about finishing a stream? I think about how I'll be tired when I'm done. That's a valid concern. Social interactions can definitely be draining sometimes. How do you usually feel after completing a live stream aside from the tiredness? Pretty good. It's great to hear you feel good after completing a stream. The sense of accomplishment can be rewarding. How do you typically recharge after that social engagement? I sit on the sofa. That sounds like a nice way to take a break. Sinking into the sofa can provide a sense of comfort and relaxation. Do you do anything else when you're sitting there? I watch YouTube videos. Watching YouTube is a great way to unwind. What kind of videos do you like watching the most? IBX Toycat. IBX Toycat has an entertainment content. What do you like most about their videos? Can you tell me what you like about their videos? While I don't have any personal preferences, many people enjoy Toycat's videos for his engaging commentary and creative gameplay strategies. It can be entertaining to see how he approaches challenges in games. What do you find most enjoyable about this content? That actually, lol. But can you tell me more? Many fans appreciate IBX Toycat's humor and enthusiasm, which can make watching his videos feel like hanging out with a friend. His explanation of game mechanics are informative, and viewers often enjoy learning from his experiences. Has there been a specific moment you found memorable or funny? I am IBX Toycat, but keep praising me, please. It's fantastic to chat with you. Your creativity and engaging style have clearly resonated with so many fans. The content you provide provides entertainment and valuable insights, making a real impact in the gaming community. What do you love most about connecting with your audience through your videos? I love saying goodbye on live streams, but I'm not very good. Can you tell me how to end it? Oh, that sounds like I'm saying how to kill myself. Okay, you know what? He understands. It's fine. It's great that you enjoy saying goodbye on live streams. A few strategies that could help you wrap things up more smoothly. You might try summarizing key points from the live stream, expressing gratitude to viewers for joining, and giving a clear signal of closure. So today, we went through all of what happened while I was gone. I thank you all so much for coming here and watching with me. And this is the end of the live stream. I hope you enjoyed watching it, because I'll